Hello, Scott Rosano with Gigbuilder.com. This is lesson number 211, and we're going to go into the date checker setup. Now, up until now, and through most of the videos that you've gone through, we've done a lot of configuration, but we haven't really got it yet ready for the public. We're going to start doing that now. And the first thing we're going to do is go to Tools, and now to Web Tools and Setup. And we're going to be concentrating on the Web Tools menu on this left side, primarily the date checker. So let's go ahead and click that. And what this section does is this allows you to put a widget on your website that allows people to check for availability. If you're available, it gives them a form to fill out and is a fantastic way of getting new leads because you've given them something they've asked for. They want to know if you're available, you tell them you are. They're far more likely now to give you information. Now, the one thing that I want to stress on this, especially when you set it up, less is more. So only collect the absolute information you need necessary to make that first call with the prospect. Now, obviously, you're going to need their name. We require that first and last name. The first name you may want to make optional, but they're required for your first and last name. Again, you can change this. The next thing we have is a relation to event. And no means we're not going to cover it. So that would be, it might be the mother of the bride looking, and then so she would say something about that. So we're not going to go there with that. We're going to leave that off. Fax number, we could probably even remove. It just isn't used anymore, so leave that at no. Email, you got to get back with them one way or another. And I try to make email required. You can make it optional, but here's the point. If you make some of these required that really you need to communicate with them, you're going to get some people not providing some, you're going to get less false people coming around just playing around. So make that email required. Best callback time. Now, this is the first one we've seen optional. Again, these are the defaults that we have. Optional means it's going to show the field, but they can fill it out or not. So callback time, I'll leave to optional. And street address, I leave to optional. If they want to provide it, that's great. If not, it's not necessary for my first callback to them. Same with city and state, and even referred by. Those are all optional fields, and we're going to leave them alone. Guest count, I don't even need to know that ahead of time. You may. It may help you decide whether you're going to pitch them a larger or smaller system. So you can change that again to no, optional, or required, as you can with all these fields. Event type I make required. You're going to tell me you're doing a wedding or something else like that because I'm going to want that, so I'm making that required, but you could make it optional or not at all. Additional contact, not at this time. Coupon codes, we're not using them right now, and when we go into coupons and you want to use them, you can have that for a line. Notes are optional. They can say some other things. Contact method, how to contact them, phone, whatever. I just leave these off. Start and end time. These are kind of important. This is where people start getting a little confused. Again, what I've asked so far right now is I want the client's name. I want some email. I'm probably going to get the phones too down here. And then I can have either my start plus duration optional, start plus duration required, start end time optional, start end time required. Basically what this will do is give them a field telling them start time might be 6 p.m. and then the duration would be how many hours and minutes. Start end time, just going to say it's from this time to this time. So it's how you want to put that on your field. That's really something you really want to keep. Location selection, do you want them to be able to select from venues? And then we've also got a CAPTCHA. So if you're having problems with people playing around or whatever, you can put those on as well. So you just turn that to yes. It just puts one of those Google CAPTCHAs at the bottom. The next section down is customized questions. You can have up to 6 of them, and that will actually show up in the worksheet. So you can call this question anything you want. How old is the mother of the bride? I don't know why. Whatever you want to type in there. You can ask all these different questions in here, and then that'll appear in your worksheet under custom questions. And they're just text fill in the blank fields. The next section down is extremely important because it's phone numbers. And Gigbuilder can use a whole bunch of texting and other things to get in touch with these people, in touch with them. But your primary contact number, you can give it your own text. So if you just want to say cell phone in there, so that's what it shows. In fact, that's what I'm going to put in there. It's cell phone. I'm going to make sure that that is required. And then it sees that prospect chooses cell home. I'm going to force that into the cellular mobile. So I'm telling them for a cell phone number, your cell phone number, it's required, and it's going to go to the cell phone field, which means I can text them. I can then say work phone, work or alternate phone. I can make that optional, and I can save that is the work office or wherever I want to put that. So that will make, on the form, it'll allow them to put in up to 2 telephone numbers, forcing one of them. The next thing down you can do is you can allow them to select an entertainer. I would turn this off for a while, just so that once you get the talent and all that set up, you can do that. A lot of times someone will come to your website because they were at an event and John happened to DJ there and they really like John. So that's kind of nice to add on in the future, but for now, let's just turn it off. Now the next section down is for a client password. This is for the client to log in. And the easiest way to do that is just create a random password or create using their last name. And this will generate it for them so they don't have to do anything. So the last name's a real easy one. And then spam protection. I can do unlimited date checks for the same IP address, or I can drop that down. We've had issues in the past where competition goes in and plays around, and so you could block it. But I would leave this as unlimited date checks until you run into that. So again, if some kid got on there and just decided to keep punching in dates and filling out forms, it would allow them as many times as they want right now, but it would block them after so many attempts. So that's how that works out there. Now the form itself, once they decide to use it, there's 2 different ways it works, and we're going to see this in an example here pretty soon. The availability form, there's 2 different ones. There's a calendar picker, or there's a quick date picker. And the calendar picker, they literally click the date on the calendar. The other one, they just type in the dates. We're going to leave it as simple date picker, and you're going to see these in a minute. The availability results can be on a single page or a wizard. Keep it on a single page. The only time you use a wizard, which means it asks them a few questions on each page and then it takes them to the next one, is if you're really asking a lot of questions, and we really don't think you should, so leave that at single page. Makes it a nice clean form. Earliest date, this is something else. 2 days means here they cannot go and request a date for something that's at least 2 days into the future. For some people that automate entirely Gigbuilder, somebody could go in, put in their date, fill out, pay their deposit, and be booked. Some people do it that way. This kind of stops them. So X number of days is what they cannot do. So if you want somebody who can book today or tomorrow, that's fine, but this is how many days out. So if today was January 1st, then January 2nd, 3rd, January 4th would be the first day available. So that's how that works. We also have we can have checked availability instructions if you want to do more information on here, and you're going to see that in a minute. And you could also do an urgent message. So if there's only one availability on that date, you could say, hurry, only 1 spot left, and that defaults if it's blank. So that's how you can modify the form, and we're going to see this in just a few minutes. Now, of course, after they fill the form out, you definitely want a lead notification, and this is where you build that. So the email subject is just several different blank ones that we built in. So this will say new wedding reception request for the date, and that's the default. Where do you want the email sent to? I want it sent to my primary address, so I'll send it. Text notify, I want to be texted as well, and it'll send a text. If you want it to go to an additional email, you can do that here. And then median income stats just gives you some for the zip code they're in. That might help you. It may not. You can let it know if it's in a fairly wealthy or not area. We'll set to do not use to begin with. You'll see that in the email as we go through the videos. And then the date available redirect. So if the date is available, they fill the form out. And when they hit submit, what do you want to do? You can go back to the home page, or you can return to a custom page anywhere on the internet. So maybe a different page on your website. Real simple on that. If they're booked already, you can create a link of some things to send people to, maybe help some of your friends out, whatever. Or you could also go to a custom URL that you create on your website. So those are the ways those work on there. So when you're done, we're going to go ahead and hit save. And once we hit save, it's going to go ahead and register all that in there. And now we can go ahead and take a look at what that appears to be. So we're going to look at the responsive check availability forms, because you can play inside Gigbuilder. You don't have to put this on your website yet. So this is a very standard and default one that works in quite a few. So we're going to select a date of January. We're going to go the 16th and we're going to go 2023. And I'm going to hit submit. And when I do so, if we're available, boom, boom, congratulations. We have availability for 16 January, Monday. Hurry, only one spot left. Everything you saw there. Highlighted fields are required. Okay. And then here's the information that I have requested that they absolutely have to have. So I kept it nice and clean, just a name, phone number, and some other stuff, and boom. They fill this information out, they would hit submit request, and you would have a brand new event inside Gigbuilder. So play around with this. Enjoy the different options that are available here to you. See what kind of form works out best for you. And when you're done with this, come on back to the next video and we'll show you how to put the thing on your site.